On Deshaun, I know you guys will ask a question, and I appreciate that. I don't have much to add. I don't have a ton of information for you. We have a plan, and as information becomes available, we can adjust that plan. But short of that, I really don't have too much that I can provide. Jacoby's our backup quarterback. If Deshaun's unavailable, Jacoby's the starter.
Are your expectations for the season the same, regardless of how long Deshaun plays, how long he doesn't play, and that whole situation?
Yeah, it doesn't change regardless of how that situation works itself out, and we're going to hold ourselves to high standard, no matter what happens. Defense is going to do what they do, and last time I heard, they can't win if they don't score points.
Kevin Stefanski and Myles Garrett talking about the Deshaun Watson situation, and it really isn't a stunner that Jacoby Brissett is the guy, but included within that message is the idea that if Watson is out for most or all of the year, it's still Jacoby Brissett. When Brissett was signed, there was a vibe that it's going to be maybe 6 games, and Brissett's the guy that would step in. If it becomes 17, it's still Brissett, but I think the deeper message is they don't really believe it's going to be the whole season. I think at most they believe it's going to be 8. I've reported they're bracing for 8. And so Brissett's the guy. They're not going to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. They're not going to try to do some other deal and bring somebody else in. Cam Newton had been mentioned a few weeks back.
Yeah,
no, it's Jacoby Brissett backed up by Josh Dobbs or Josh Rosen. That's what the depth chart's going to be.
Yeah, that's what they're going with. So that's fine. They don't want to confuse things. I've had people ask me about Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's just going to make things, dysfunctional at some point. Or what if you're doing really good with Jimmy Garoppolo? And he's 8-0, and you guys are 7-1. You're gonna, we got Deshaun Watson. We paid him all this money. We're gonna bench Jimmy Garoppolo. It just causes more problems than it's worth. They signed this group of quarterbacks knowing what could happen, and signed it and did it knowing that maybe Deshaun won't be there, but Jacoby Brissett's played a lot of football, and he's capable of holding down the fort. And, I, like you, I've heard from some people in the league that, again, I don't think they know for sure, but I think the feeling, I think we've talked about this the last 2 days. I've heard 12, 10, it's going to go back down to 10 or 8, something like that. So that seems to be where it's going to go. And I don't doubt the Cleveland Browns with Jacoby Brissett. Either way, their team has got to be ready to go. As awesome as Deshaun Watson is, even if he can play week 1, I don't think he's going to be the Deshaun Watson we saw. So they got to be able to play some defense, be a little bit more dominant against the better teams in football this year, run the football, and do that. We talked about a lot at the end of last season. They're a disappointing football team. They could still, in my opinion, if Deshaun Watson got suspended the whole year and we were sitting here in December and we were going, man, the Browns and Jacoby Brissett are in the playoff conversation. They win the last 2 games, they might sneak in. I don't think that's shocking when you talk about a team that's arguably got the best offensive line in football, got a really good defensive line, got good linebackers, got an unbelievable corner duo, good safeties, receivers, okay. They improved the position, good tight end play, maybe the best duo at running back. I mean, listen, when you say it out loud, you start to go, wait, why can't Cleveland hold down the fort and go 5-3 with Jacoby Brissett? Why can't they? Their team, the roster is really damn good. So I give them a fighting chance even with Jacoby. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Mike?
I don't disagree with that at all. Brissett quietly has 37 starts during his time in the NFL between the Patriots, the Colts, and the Dolphins. And this was a strategic move, a short-term Band-Aid until Deshaun Watson is back, however long he may be gone. And remember, the procedure, fairly simple at this point. Judge Sue L. Robinson, the independent disciplinary officer hired by the NFL and the NFLPA, will issue a decision at some point. I'd like to think it would come this week, but who knows? If any discipline at all is imposed by her, either side can appeal it. The question is, if it's light, will the NFL exercise its prerogative to appeal to the commissioner, who could then say, sorry, Sue, 4 games, not going to cut it. And I really do believe, Chris, I don't know how much we talked about this yesterday because I did a few radio spots, and it's the first topic, or one of the first topics everybody wants to ask about. I really do believe that the NFL is going to pay very close attention to the reaction to Judge Robinson's decision.
Yeah, right.
And if it is overwhelmingly negative, they have a way to fix it. They appeal to the commissioner, who can say, hey, everyone out there who is mad that Deshaun Watson was only suspended 4 games, the guy whose name is on every football, is going to make it 17. I mean, that still can happen. That's the way the procedure is. So Either way, it needs to get done because look at what the Browns are doing for now. They got to get both guys ready. That's something else Stefanski said yesterday. They're splitting the reps between Watson and Brissett because Watson's got to be ready whenever he plays, and Brissett's got to be ready most likely week 1.
Yeah, I know. It's a balancing act. They're in a tough situation. Like we said a lot of times in the spring, man, they put Kevin Stefanski in some bind with this whole thing. They did. I mean, it's a juggling act. Wait, a guy that hasn't played football in a year, we got to get him reps. We're paying him all the money. We know he's the guy, and we want him when he does play halfway through the year or whenever that he can play and be really good for us. But wait, I got to worry about a guy that's probably going to have to start for us week 1 and week 2 and really play for us right away. It is. That doesn't make life easy in practice. Definitely doesn't. As he goes on through training camp here, I would think he's got to wane down Watson's reps with the first team and kind of rev up Jacoby Brissett, which stinks again for Watson, for a guy who hasn't been playing for a year. So, yeah, they got some work to do in there in Cleveland, but they got a good football team. They really do, and I think they can be very, very competitive and a big pain in the butt with Jacoby Brissett.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.